Radio 4 Today host John Humphrys says controversial comments made in an off-air chat about the BBC's gender pay gap were nothing to do with former colleague Carrie Gracie. A tape recording of a conversation between the veteran presenter and North America editor John Sopel heard them discussing Gracie, who had dramatically quit just hours earlier in protest at unequal pay. The pair made light of the disparity in pay between men and women at the BBC as they talked about former China editor Gracie, who accuses the broadcaster of unlawful salary discrimination. In a leaked chat that is understood to have been recorded before Monday's programme went to air, Humphrys reportedly asks Sopel how much of his salary he would hand over to Gracie to keep her at the corporation. The 74-year-old host then jokes that he's handed over more than ******ing earn. Last night it was unclear whether any action has been, or will be, taken against the pair after the BBC refused to answer the question when it was put to them by the Mirror. Journalist John Sopel is the BBC's North America editor, Image, BBC. However, Humphrys told The Times the conversation had not been intended as a criticism of Ms. Gracie. He said, "This was what I thought was an exchange between two old friends who have known each other for 30 years and were taking the mickey out of each other. It was nothing to do with Carrie's campaign." A recording of the on-air banter was leaked to journalist Miriam O'Reilly, who fought the BBC and won an age discrimination case in 2011 after being dropped from Country File. She claims she was stood down from appearing on the Today programme to discuss equal pay after telling the BBC that she had listened to the smug and condescending recording sent to her by a guest in the US. A transcript of the conversation between Humphrys and Sopel, 58, was published by The Sun. Humphrys has defended it as silly banter between old mates, the newspaper reported. BBC journalist Carrie Gracie recently quit as China editor over the gender pay gap. Image, PA. According to the transcript, Humphrys says to Sopel, "Slight change of subject, the first question will be how much of your salary you are prepared to hand over to Carrie Grace to keep her, and then a few comments about your other colleagues, you know, like our Middle East editor and the other men who are earning too much." Sopel, the BBC's North America editor, responds, "I mean, obviously if we are talking about the scope for the greatest redistribution or have to come back and say, well, yes, Mr. Humphrys, but," Humphrys says, "and I could save you the trouble as I could volunteer that I've handed over already more than *************, but I'm still left with more than anybody else, and it seems to me to be entirely just, something like that would do it." Sopel says don't, before Humphrys interjects, "Oh dear God. She's actually suggested that you should lose money. You know that, don't you? You've read the thing properly, have you?" A recording of the conversation was leaked to journalist Miriam O'Reilly. Image, PA. A BBC source told Mirror Online that management are deeply unimpressed. A spokeswoman said, "This was an ill-advised, off-air conversation which the presenter regrets." The Mirror asked whether any action has been taken against the pair. The spokeswoman said, "We don't comment on staff matters like that, but I think our attitude should be clear from the two quotes I've given." She added, "The BBC is committed to getting its pay structures right and, as we have said, we are conducting a comprehensive analysis of presenter pay." The gender pay gap controversy has engulfed the BBC. Image, Getty. The BBC is planning to publish the results of an objective external assessment in the coming weeks, the spokeswoman added. O'Reilly, 60, wrote on Twitter that she had been due to discuss the pay gap on Today, but her appearance was scrapped. She wrote on Twitter, "Stood down from appearing on at BBC 4 Today on equal pay. Sure, it's nothing to do with saying I had heard a less than impartial recorded exchange between John Humphrys, 6, and John Sopel at BBC Carrie before last Monday's programme." Clearly from the exchange, John Humphrys, 6, was not happy about his salary reduction in the equal pay scandal. Are the reasons why? Blokes together, what are they like? Thanks to guest in the US who sent me this. And this was all before BBC Carrie took her place as co-presenter of Today. This was the attitude of these backslapping entitled males. She added, "You should hear the tone of the exchange, base, smug and condescending.